FP, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm really excited for Giants baseball. I'm not foolish. I didn't think they ever had a chance at Shohei, right? And I know that there's a lot of Giants fans that are angry, and they've been angry. And I don't dismiss those feelings. I'm frustrated too. I thought we'd be farther along in the get back to relevance, category, if you will. But I'm looking at this team, and all I want to do is I want to see some hope. And I've been waiting for young players to show up. I don't know if they're any good. We'll see. I don't know if they're any good, but I've been reading about them and reading about them and reading about them because I don't get to watch a lot of minor league games. You go down there, you've seen some of these guys, you've worked with the San Jose Giants at times, so you're going to have a better feel on the minor league system as a whole. I don't know how to disseminate batting averages and slash lines and splits and like what correlates to the bigs and what doesn't. I'm just looking at the 2023 opening day roster for the Giants and this year's 40-man. And I'm sure there'll be some changes, but I'm looking at it now. I just think they're a better team. I think they're a better team this year than last year. Now, is that good enough? I don't know. But I'm looking at it right now on paper, and I'm saying I like where they're at. And I don't know how many Giants fans do. And I'm just curious, Giants fans, 888-957-9570. Are you a little more optimistic this year? No one's saying they're going to beat the Dodgers. No one's saying they're coming out and representing the National League in the World Series. But are you excited and are you optimistic for Giants baseball? Because I am.
I'm excited for baseball every year. It's like pizza to me. There's no bad pizza. If it's 2 a.m, give me a frozen pizza and I'm good.
Golden Boy,
Golden Boy's the best.
Your face lit up when I said that.
Yeah, well, it's next to Gino and Carlos. So so I'm excited every year for baseball. Obviously, it's been my life. This year, though, when you look at Jordan Hicks throwing 105, that's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely.
When you look at Robbie Ray, when he comes back, he throws hard. It's going to be fun to watch. When Alex Cobb gets healthy, Kyle Harrison's a great story. The starting rotation is the backbone to me.
Absolutely.
You win with pitching. We, meaning Giants fans, have won 3 World Series with pitching and defense.
Absolutely.
So that's the key to me. I like where they're at. I'm excited for the season. I think if you get into the wild card, I know this isn't a wild card town, though. That's the only thing. We say wild card, and it just doesn't resonate with fans. And I guess where I'm going with this, Joe, is as a Giants fan, take the broadcaster, take all the other things out of the resume. As a Giants fan, I just want to see a brand of baseball that is exciting to me.
Yeah,
I want to fall in love with my favorite players again. I don't want to see Michael Conforto, who signed with the Giants, get pinch hit for in the 4th inning. I don't want to see Jordan Hicks start the 3rd inning and go innings 3 through 6 and be a feature guy. If you're a starting pitcher, you're a starting pitcher. Pitch 7 innings. If you're a position player, even though the matchups, you have to acknowledge them late in the game in a high-leverage situation, 7, 8, and 9 in the championship innings, and you want to go with your best players, I get it. But I want to see my favorite Giant get 4 or 5 at-bats. I want to see speed. I want to see...
I do too.
I want to see Lee fly around in center field. I want to see him put the ball in play. I want to see him steal some bases. I want to be entertained as a Giants fan. Take the broadcaster hat off. Take whatever hat off. I want to go to the ballpark and be entertained. And I can't say since I've come back from the East Coast the last 2 years, in 22 and 23, that was the case. It's been a very sterile brand of baseball.
Well, it's been a lot of guys that aren't they aren't Giants. They're guys that are kind of cast-offy, right? FP,
it just hasn't been exciting, dude. I want to be entertained.
But don't you think that this market, when I look at the Niners and I look at the Warriors, homegrown talent as the base is what starts the love and the joy and the appreciation. You can go trade for a CMC. You can trade for 100 pence, but having the homegrown talent, isn't that the start?
It is. We're thirsty to wrap our arms around somebody as Giants fans.
Absolutely.
And we're cranky.
That I agree
as
with.
Giants fans. But I want to see a brand of baseball that entertains me. Felipe Alou, best post-All-Star speech ever in the clubhouse. We were in Shea Stadium playing the Mets, and he said, people pay money to see us play. We are in the entertainment industry. Felipe didn't get a lot of speeches, but when he did, you could hear a pin drop. Yeah. He just commanded that respect in a clubhouse. And he said, we're in the entertainment industry. People we are not giving them their money's worth. We're in last place. We were playing bad. So he goes, for the second half of the season, I want you guys to have on your mind that we have to be entertaining. Let's go out and entertain people and at least give them their money's worth, whether we win or lose. And to me, it is the entertainment industry. And when you talk to Giants fans, they're not coming to the ballpark because a lot of people don't live downtown anymore. You can't just walk to the yard. People aren't going to work downtown anymore. You can't just walk to the yard after a happy hour.
No, I think it's more the team's boring.
But I think that's what I was getting to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt
but
you.
yeah, but I think the problem is it's not that they're bad players.
No.
It's just the brand of baseball that I say was successful in a 107-win season when maybe you feel like you got the cheat codes and you're going to try that again. It's not conducive to fans falling in love with the team. It's just not.
I'm with you.
You got to play baseball, dude.
Yeah,
Giants fans are the smartest, most passionate fan base. They're very East Coasty in their passion. They're very East Coasty in their knowledge. They show up, hard hats, lunch pails, let's get after it. Giants baseball has always been a brand of what is Giants baseball. It's pitching, it's defense. We're going to battle our ass off at the plate. We're going to find a way to beat you. But whether it's Will Clark, whether it's Robbie Thompson, whether it's Tim Lincecum, whether it's you name all this, the players from the past, they've given you a great effort every day. They've cared. They've gone out there and battled their asses off, and they've found ways to win, and they've found ways to be colorful and to help us fall in love with them.
That's absolutely.
There hasn't been the color.
No.
There hasn't been, I'm in love with this player. Maybe I'm starting to fall in love with this player, but he gets pinch hit for it. Maybe I'm starting to fall in love with this pitcher, but I don't know who's playing where. I don't know who's playing when. I don't know who's pitching. A closer starting. So this game, this brand that they've played, and I'm not sounding old, I'm sounding like a fan, is not conducive to Joe Shasky fall in love with the San Francisco Giants.
FP, you've got a son who's 28, 29 years old?
I do. He says the same things.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what jersey would he buy?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I have a son.
This is no slight on the players.
No. But this is.
They haven't had. Michael Conforto had some great quotes in the Chronicle.
Yeah, I know. But Michael Conforto played for the Mets for 5 years.
But he said about like the platooning thing that it was hard to get used to.
I mean more like attachment to a product. Like, okay, my son, I got a Steph Curry onesie. I know that will age well. You know what I mean? I got a Christian McCaffrey onesie from family members. Who's the Giants player I'm getting?
But it's not to me, Joe. It's not about star power. Everybody wants you to sign a star, sign a big name, a big name.
But it's our guys.
We had the biggest name maybe in the history of baseball for a long time. They hit a lot of home runs and they never won a World Series.
Yeah, but people
with
love those teams.
I know, but I'm just saying it's about playing the game the right way and playing a brand of baseball that's entertaining.
But FP, I would say that
math is not entertaining. Nobody went to math class to get excited.
No doubt.
Nobody like sprinted to math class and said like, teach me the formulas. This is the best.
But part of what made that Bonds team, Bonds was a superstar. You had a homegrown rotation and you had guys on that diamond like Rich Aurelia, homegrown player in terms of a Giant. You know what I mean? Like he came up that way. And then you supplement it with a Kenny Lofton and a Reggie Sanders and other guys. But they had homegrown guys. They swung a massive trade, Alan Watson for JT Snow. Like they did some bold things at that time. And JT, although he was an Angel prior, became a Giant. You know, like when people bring up JT Snow around these parts, he was one of ours. And I feel like this era of Giants, there's nobody to just, he's one of ours. Like Yaz?
You got to play though.
Yeah.
You got to play to be one of ours. You can't play half a game and fall in love with somebody. You can't pitch 4 innings and fall in love with somebody. You got to play.
Well,
what if Michael Conforto got 600 at-bats last year and he hit 30 home runs and he hit 310? And you saw him play every day and you're like, oh. But you see him play half a game and you're like, oh. Like what if, name another platoon player, just played and we got to see
Flores.
him play.
Wilmer Flores
he can't.
No, I know, but he became a fan favorite. And I felt like I love Wilmer as a small-term player, as a role player, as a part-time player. But the longer you play him, he can't play third base.
Tyro Estrada hitting ninth. Just put him in the 2-hole and let him go.
I'm with you.
Don't hit your best hitter ninth because the computer sheet says that the bottom of the lineup struggling right now. So we're going to put like he's your second hitter. Let him play second. Let him get 700 plate appearances.
I'm with you on that. Let's go out to Duke in San Bruno because he's going to bring up something, and I want to just talk about the actual lineup, FP, with you because I'm with you on the brand of baseball they're playing. How much does this guy matter in this Duke in San Bruno? Fire away on the Giants. Duke.
So we're going to put. Hey, you guys there?
Yep.
Oh, great. There was dead silence there. Hey, my main reason for being kind of excited about the Giants this year is Bob Melvin. I think we got a guy that coaches from his gut, kind of Bruce Bochy style, and I think it's going to be a good year just because of Bob Melvin.
What do you say when you hear that?
The best thing about Bob Melvin, he knows the importance of wearing the orange and black. He knows the importance of what it means to be a Giant. And the best thing about Bob Melvin is going to be a give and take between him and Farhan. If you have two people that agree on everything all the time, there's no way to grow. There's no way to, if there's no pushback and you're like, oh yeah, you're right. And we agree on everything all the time, which I think Gabe and Farhan were like, they've joined at the hip in their philosophies. Now you got a guy that's believes in analytics in Melvin, but he also believes in experience, and he knows that there's players inside the uniforms. That you're dealing with emotion and real people and human beings. That no matter if you pinch hit for a player, you're saying that this guy's better than me. I don't care if we buy in and we drink the Kool-Aid, and it's about being versatile.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with getting pinch hit for, and you have to be okay with being whatever. That's just not being a human being. You have to treat players like human beings, not like chess pieces. If you treat players like chess pieces, they're going to act like chess pieces. And I think what we saw the last couple of years was chess pieces on a baseball field. And I think Bob's going to treat them like human beings. And there's going to be a good give and take now between Farhan and Bob Melvin. Farhan's not dumb. Farhan gets crushed way too much for me. Like, he knows what he's doing. But I think now when you have Farhan and Melvin maybe butting heads, like I had Ned Coletti on my show, and he talked about how he and Brian Sabian used to get into full-on arguments after a game and disagree and scream at each other. One would leave the office, the other one would leave the office. They wouldn't talk to each other until the next day at noon. They go for a walk. Like, creative disagreement, when you check your ego at the door, leads to growth.
No, I agree with that.
And if you're always agreeing with everybody and you're like, yeah, I love this lineup. I love this lineup. Yeah, pinch hit for him. Yeah, pinch hit for him. Yeah, start Brebbia for the third day in a row. Yeah, start Brebbia for the third day in a row. Like, screw starting Brebbia. How about Logan Webb goes 7 innings? How about Alex Cobb goes 7 innings? How about Alex Wood goes 7 innings? You know what I'm saying? Disagreement is great, bro. It's good for anything as long as it's not like malicious.
Well, you have to be able to reflect, come back, and then maybe both are better for it because they're seeing a point of view that they hadn't considered. Like, that's part of conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? No matter what it is. You brought up 7 innings. Do you know that in 2023, Logan Webb led all of Major League Baseball with starts going 7 innings and not taking an L? He had 14 of them.
Logan Webb was a stud, but I think he can turn it up a notch.
I didn't think he had the best command last year.
I think he would win a Cy Young.
Did you think he had his best stuff last year? Because I didn't. I thought he was fighting himself at times. Watching him last year, the movement wasn't as good as it was the year prior. Why do you scoff at that?
Look at his numbers with Patrick Bailey behind the plate versus anybody else.
What was it? I
guarantee it's way better.
Okay, so it's
a comfort level to throwing to Blake Sable, who's a rookie catcher and maybe doesn't get
Sable's
it yet.
Not a great defensive catcher.
No, he's not.
And Joey Bart.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, when you get a certain comfort level and confidence in a guy that when he's pressing a button now, not putting down signs, that it's just a relaxability factor on the mound that I don't have to think and pitch, and that I trust you and we're playing catch. But if I have to sit there and shake you off, it just pisses you. It pisses
no
pitchers
doubt.
off. So yeah, like, but I think Logan has more gas in the tank. I
would agree with that.
I think he can be a 1A starter. But, he almost won a Cy. He flirted with the Cy Young this year.
Outstanding.
What, he finished second? Flirted with a third.
Yeah.
He flirted with the Cy Young on not his best year. This guy can win a Cy Young.
I'm with you. And he also needs better defense behind him.
You have Jordan Hicks that throws 104. Robbie Ray around the All-Star break. Apparently he's throwing well. I mean, Alex Cobb, who's just a pro's pro.
Harrison.
And Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison, to me, is that's a big, I got to see something here.
Well, here's the thing with him that I have a question of, like, how are you going to be ready to throw 5, 6, 7 innings when you've been throwing 3 innings all through the minor leagues?
It makes sense. And then they stretched them out to 7, and you're just like, oh.
I mean, FP, like, how can my 12-year-old team go 5 innings and 75 pitches, and this guy's going 2 innings with 40 pitches? Like, what? I get you want to preserve the arm, but here's why I'm optimistic about the Giants, all right? I'm looking at it this way. Last year, there wasn't one name I could write down and say, that guy's going to play every day. I didn't think. Like, just going into the year, looking at the team, I didn't think Wilmer or Lamont Wade or J.D. Davis or even Crawford, none of those guys I thought were going to be everyday players because they were going to yo-yo them in and out. I'm looking at the team this year. After seeing the body of work, even though he got hurt, Estrada to me is an everyday player currently. We'll see what this year ends up becoming. I'm excited to see him play a full season. I thought he got much better defensively at second base. You got Jorge Soler. It's a great acquisition. They need pop in the middle of the lineup. Mashes lefties. They need a 30 home run guy. They have a DH every day.
He mashes righties. He hit 22 home runs off righties last year.
But he also crushes lefties too. You know, because last year they had a lefty heavy lineup. And it was just anyway. Am I wrong?
No.
It was great.
I just love the passion, dude.
Jung Hoo Lee. I'm excited to see Jung Hoo Lee play center field every single day. I mean, we brought Wade Meckler up and Luis Matos, and neither guy knew how to track a fly ball.
Dude, I'm excited to do my first Giants game, and when he reaches first on a base hit, say, who's on first? I can't wait to say that. I got dad jokes for days.
I like that. I got Patrick Bailey behind the dish. Okay, last year it was Joey Bart at the beginning of the year, Blake Sable. I mean, it was throwing my hands up in the air. But by the end of the year, I kind of figured, hey, we got Pat Bailey. And then I got Luciano at short. Now, I don't know what Luciano will end up being, but I'm optimistic to let it play out. I've been hearing about him. I want to see him. That's 5 guys on my everyday lineup of the 8 where I'm like, all right, we've got a little something here. Let's see it. Am I too optimistic?
No. Hey, you should be optimistic about your team. Every team should be optimistic right now. I don't know about Luciano at short. I think they need a veteran guy there. They need somebody that can lock in and play every day in case that doesn't work out.
What, like Tim Anderson? Even though he's not a great shortstop?
He was he was my guy that I wanted this offseason.
I love him.
Because he's coming off a rough year.
Yes, very bad.
He's probably got a bad reputation now. He got punched in the jaw. I don't know how that affected his season.
He played second base in the USA Classic or whatever, the World Baseball Classic. He didn't play a great defensive second base, but they had, what's his face?
I talked to DeRosa, the amount of calls he got from major league organizations about where position players had to play and what innings pitchers had to have. That guy couldn't manage the World Baseball Classic.
That must have been a nightmare.
It's like, you're putting my guy at second, and he's a shortstop. You put my shortstop at second. Like, what are you doing? It was a nightmare for him.
Well, Trey Turner's a stud. I mean, you put him at shortstop every day.
But Luciano, to me, the defense part, I got to see more. I don't know. I can't sit here and say what I think about him yet. I got to see more. I would say that's my biggest concern.
Well, health for him is a big concern. And then I look at, again, I'm going off of FB. I don't see any of these guys. We hear about them forever. I see more of college football players, offensive linemen, than I do our minor league players in terms of watching them play games. I saw 5 games from Luciano last year. 5 games. I don't know what to make of him, but I've been hearing about him for 5 years. So, let's see it. Let's see it play out. And if he can't play shortstop, all right, then where do you move him?
What do you do with Joey Bart? That buckled you like a 3-2 change.
No. Look, this is like the Joey Bart thing kind of, you're talking about Farhan. He's a really smart guy. And I would say to you, the smartest people I know when to wave the white flag, right? They understand value. To me, when we're talking about the NFL draft, whether we're talking about real estate prices, there's an evaluation, right? There's a financial component and understanding when an asset is at its highest or when it's at its lowest. And they knew almost immediately Joey Bart was not their guy. And they went and drafted Patrick Bailey immediately, the very next year. Well, then why'd you keep him? What? Now he has 0 value, and you're probably going to leave him off your 25, 26-man roster, whatever it is, and someone else will claim him or take him. Why couldn't you package him in part of a deal 2 years ago if you knew he wasn't your guy when you can get something back in return? To me, if you are smart and you understand value and you have the larger grand scheme and the big picture view, you don't take a number 2 overall player, even though I know baseball's different, and just depreciate him to where he's worth nothing.
He's stuck in baseball purgatory right now because he's a good insurance policy in case somebody gets hurt, because that's a position that's conducive to injuries.
What does he do well?
I mean, he does a lot of things good.
Like what?
I mean, he's had games where he's thrown guys out.
No doubt. I've seen his arm.
Where he's caught a game where the power's not there anymore. I don't think the belief in himself, like I said, I'm a big body language guy. He's a Gumby, shoulders, head down, back to the dugout guy all the time.
He swings through so many inside pitches.
It's just the energy level and the spark, the twinkle in his eye. Like Pat Bailey has a twinkle in his eye.
I agree.
I don't know that Joey does, but he's also a first-round pick, and you have a lot invested in him. But he's been afforded a lot of opportunities that a lot of us wish we would have had.
Yeah.
Just because you're a first-round pick. And it goes back to the Brock Purdy thing. Like when you get your day in the sun,
You got to make the most of
you
it.
got to make the most of it.
Absolutely.
But the runway for Joey is I think maybe running out a little bit, but that doesn't mean that he has a good spring. But I would say if I had to guess, I'd be surprised if he's a Giant at the end of spring training if everybody's healthy. But then I don't know if it's just one pitcher, but it looked like Pat Bailey got big. I don't know. I got to go down there and see. I can't take a picture on the internet.
Well,
let me text Susan real quick. I got to